Hello, bee people. We're back. Okay, so we previously talked about your woodenware. So now I want to talk about you got your hive, you got it all together, it's glued, you use screws because nails don't work. Um, and you painted it, or you know a guy, right, that can boil them, or you just went ahead and purchased them boiled in wax. I think some of the terms are dipped. I look at dip that they just dipped it in the wax, right? I don't think that does much good. We do our own. Most everything we do are for ourselves. We do sell some equipment. Um, we're not an equipment dealer by any means, but hey, we'll take care of you. This is a farm, so you get farm prices. So we boil all our woodenware because, man, I hate painting. I mean, I hate painting more than anything in the whole world. I hate painting. And especially if you paint and where your hive tool is, you push it through here all the time and it eats this wood and then the paint's disappearing and then the water gets to it and then you jab it again and the water gets to it. This is where it rots, right on the corner. I should have brought a couple in to show you, but you get the idea. So we boil ours. They go in a vat of microcrystalline wax, so we buy that special. It's a 3-strand binding wax, where like paraffin, candle wax, even beeswax is a single strand. So the difference is paraffin's like 130-degree melt point. Microcrystalline is like 180 degree. Might be a little higher than that, but I'm cautious with the 180. So it's not going to leach out in the sun. I mean, if it's 180 degrees, man, we're in trouble. All right. So that's the difference. It doesn't feel like wax. Um, these things last forever, I think. I have some that are quite a few years old. It's something we've recently done in the past 7 or 8 years. I'm not, don't quote me on that. So, anyway, that's why you see this. It does, you can see the different color changes. I don't know if you can see that or not on this stack of boxes. You know, over time, this is like a pretty old one. You can see it just starts looking like cool old wood, man. You kind of don't see your beehives. I like it. So anyway, you got your hive together. You got it set where you want it. It's low to the ground, not set up on a bunch of cement blocks so it falls over. You don't want that. I should have brought some in. We basically take little short pieces of 4x4. We take 3 of them and put them on the ground, and we take an 8-foot 4x4 and lay it across them. So the 4x4s on the end take the weight of the hives on the end, and the 4x4 in the middle takes the weight of the hive in the middle. We generally put 3 hives on an 8-foot stand. And that way we can push them together in the wintertime. And they're far enough apart in the spring and summer that the bees don't have a problem with each other. And they're sitting on top of the 4x4 on the ground that can take the weight, because these things can get up 700 pounds. So think about that when they get rolling. Now, the 2 4x4s we lay across the 3 short ones, we do screw a couple 2x4s or 1 by something on the end so we don't accidentally kick the 4x4s apart. And you know, catch a 4x4 at the end and catch one up here at the beginning. The hive bottom board can take the difference in a weight, but all your weight's on your corners anyway. All right, do that. Don't set them up on a couple cement blocks. Man, they're just going to fall over, and all your hard work is just laying on the ground. And the bees are going to be mad too. I mean, real mad when you go to try to pick that thing up. And you might break your boxes, and they don't need to be high. They can be low to the ground. It's a lot easier to work too. You're not up here. It's going to be tall enough when you're, 2 brood boxes, and our configuration is 3 deep brood boxes and 2, 3 honey boxes, sitting on the ground. It's still like this. So just a little bit of info. All right, so you made the decision that you're going to buy a package of bees. Maybe that's all you can get. I don't know where you really live. You live south of me. Like I say, I'm in Cincinnati, the 49th parallel. So the further you go south, the less expensive a package of bees are. They're about $140 here, unless you know the right people. The further north you get, the more expensive they're going to get. We'll talk about a package of bees. So you got your package of bees. They're coming. I would suggest you wait and get your package of bees later in April or beginning of May. I know everybody wants their stuff early, but it's just going to be cold and miserable, and it's going to be hard for them to turn around and survive. So, where's that good frame? What? All right, so you got your package of bees coming. You know when they're coming. You're all ready for it, but you're not. So all you got is a bunch of brand new stuff. Unless you got a buddy or some friends that have some beehives and they're willing to give up a frame of nice brood comb. Brood comb has to do with the size of the cell. You have 3 size cells: worker cells, drone cells, which are the males, and then queen cups, which they won't be on something like this. They'll be hanging. But anyway, so you got hooked up. Somebody hooked you up. You put that right in the middle, and then you're going to have some brand new stuff. Maybe your buddy gave you a couple of these. And you're only going to put 5 frames in your box. And then what I want you to do is, you can probably buy one, but they're easy to make too. This is a serious one. We made this for another project, but this is a following board. So what you can do is put this right in there, right next to your 5 frames now, and this is where you're going to put your bees. And then you're going to let them build this comb, and then you're going to keep an eye on them. So expecting your hives, that's another video. And what I would do first is give them some room. Spread these frames apart a little bit. And then your empty box that you don't, just set that on top of here. And you can watch some videos on how to install packages and just dump them down in here and let them be overnight. And here's why I think you should, I personally would buy packages later in the season, like end of April for sure, beginning of May. There's nothing really happening in this area anyway, so why make it hard on them? End of April, beginning of May, stuff's blooming, it's on. So you put your bees in here. Now you got your queen. You put her in here somewhere. depending on what kind of queen cage it is. So if you're handy with a saw and you can make yourself a little rim, a little 1-inch, 3/4 inch rim, and put it here, that way you can put your queen cage and you don't have to shove it down in the frames. I don't like doing that. I know that's how they show you to do it. I personally don't like doing it. We do 1,000 queens or more a year. We just love laying them on top of the frames, and we'll talk about this, but this is a rim we have. If you watch our videos, you know what this is. You could lay the queen here and boom, right on top. It's got this little 1-inch space. And you can buy little 1-inch spacers. They sell them, or you can make one yourself. It's just for this moment in time, right? You come back in 3 days, she's out. Your bees have all acclimated to these frames. You push your frames back together because you always want these frames tight. That's another little video. Put your following board over here. Now, they need food, right? They need food. You need these bees. Some of them are going to turn into foragers. A lot of them are still nurse bees. Somebody's going to have to build some comb. The queen's they're going to clean this brood comb that you put in there, and you might see some stuff out the front. No worries, that's them cleaning that brood frame. The queen's going to start laying it up as soon as she's out of that cage, and then they're going to feed her, and she's going to come in to lay. So there's products. You can buy some pollen patties. You don't need a whole lot of them. Just buy a handful of them, and don't put the whole thing in here. Just baby pieces, because you're going to keep your eye on this, and when that one's gone, you can give them another one. Don't give them too much. Too much is too much. And then another thing, don't put stuff in your hives. Don't put traps in it. Don't put stuff in it. They don't need no stuff. Now, you need to feed these girls somehow. They have them little entrance feeders. I don't particularly like them because the bees can get robbed. I would rather feed inside, personally. Now, there's these that are called frame feeders. They fit down inside. Not designed for you to build comb. They're designed to give a hive food because there's no food. That's what these are designed for. So this is not what you want. You don't even need this. Don't buy one. Don't waste your money. Now, they have hive top feeders. But it's the same thing as this. It's designed to backfill your comb with, we'll call it sugar honey, depending on what product you're using. You can use honey, actually, but it's expensive. So here again, this is way too much. What you don't want to happen is they pull new comb on your brand new frames, and then the other bees go, oh, let's fill it up with this syrup. Well, now the queen has nowhere to lay eggs, and you're after bees, not syrup in your hive. So too much. There's too much here. So we don't use these. Now, what we do use are these 1-gallon buckets. You watch some of our videos, you'll see how this works. It's a 1-gallon bucket. And you can also use like mason jars and poke a few little holes in it, and the same thing. So we fill this with syrup, and now you need something on here with a hole in it. So if you can come up with a piece of plywood, because chances are your inner cover is just not going to work for you. Actually, it sort of does work. But if you can just find a piece of plywood, this is just temporary for you, and drill a small little hole. It doesn't have to be very big, and put your mason jar on it, and that's just some sugar with water in it. You have to be careful and always smell it every time you go out and check it, because sugar and water makes alcohol, we know that. Or you could, if you use these buckets, we use them all the time, you can set that over the hole. They can only take a little bit at a time, and I can fill as much as I want in here. But since you're growing from scratch, I would just use a mason jar. Don't go, I'm going to use a half a gallon one. That way I don't have to go out there that much. You need to pay attention to your bees at first. So, a little pint jars. That way, every day you can give them a little pint, and they won't do some dumb stuff in their brand new comb. So that's a package. And then you'll start inspecting them. That's something else. And once they start getting out here and have comb out here, you just move your following board, move your frames, put a brand new one on the outside here, put a brand new one on the outside here, put your board up. There you go. They're going to expand. Hope that makes sense. I'm going to stop this, and then I'm going to make one about putting a package in. How's that? Because I think these things get long.